If you are looking for a new book to read or a new series, I think I might have the solution. This video is part of a collaborative series I'm doing with some YouTuber friends called This Is My Book Tag. And basically, we're a bunch of authors who are just talking about our books. And it ranges from romantic comedies to fantasy to everything in between. So today, this video is going to be about my book, The Call of the Valkyries. So I'm going to answer a bunch of questions for you, and it's all going to be about this book here. So the first question is, what's the title of your book? So, as I've already said, my book is called The Call of the Valkyries. It's book one in the Viking saga. And it basically tells the story of Freydis, Harald's daughter, who wants to escape her life. She's been just arranged to marry. Her parents have arranged for her to marry the son of a local fisherman, and she doesn't want that life. She wants to be a shield maiden. Alongside Freydis' story, we are in Asgard. We are learning about the gods and the goddesses that live in Asgard and Vanaheim, and their lives are intertwined with Freydis' fate. You will have to read the book to find out more, obviously. It will be well worth your time, I think. So what genre is The Call of the Valkyries? So it is fantasy. It's Norse fantasy, very heavily based on Norse history and Norse mythology, centering around the story of Ragnarok. So if you're into Norse mythology, then this book and this series is going to be one for you. What inspired me to write my book? Well, I grew up loving myths and legends. I've already written a trilogy of books based on Arthurian myths and legends. I've written a 10-book children's series of Arthurian legends, and then when that was over and I got the Arthurian stuff out of my system, my next stop was Norse. I do also have a series in the pipeline for Greek mythology as well, but yeah, Norse was my second stop on the mythology tour. Is my book self-published or traditionally published? This book is self-published. My only traditionally published books are the children's book series of Arthurian legends. Everything else that I publish is self-published. And I love that because it gives me so much more control over what I do, what I put into the book, how I market the book and things like that. So yeah, self-published. What do I love about my book? Well, first of all, I love my characters. I love Freydis. She was very much based on me. Parts of me, let's say. And I think if I was living in Viking times, I would be very much like Freydis, wanting to be a shield maiden, not wanting to get married. I also enjoyed bringing some of the gods and the goddesses to life. Freya was my particular favourite, and her Valkyrie, Brynhild. I love their relationship and their camaraderie. And I love Freya's relationship with her brother Frey as well in this. So yeah, that's something that I'm quite proud of bringing to life as well. What other books does mine resemble? So obviously, quite an obvious comparison would be Giles Christian's Raven series, which is a Viking-based historical novel series. And another one as well would be Ashley Hagood's Daughters of Valhalla series. She's also a published author. And she writes awesome Norse-inspired fiction as well. So if you are into that, you should definitely check out Ashley Hagood as well. What is the scene or thing you are most excited for readers to read? Honestly, I think the most exciting thing that I would like readers to read is the way chapter 1 ends. It ends on such a cliffhanger. And when I wrote that, I was just like, yeah, this is such a way to start the series, start the book with a bang. So yeah, the ending of chapter 1 is definitely something that I would be very keen for readers to read and hopefully enjoy, and hopefully it will keep them hooked for the rest of the book and then the rest of the series as well. The next question: what is one thing that readers may have missed or not picked up on when reading your book? Out of all the questions today, this is the one question that I cannot possibly answer because personally, I don't like spoilers, and I write so many I give so many clues to things that are going to be revealed later in the series that if you missed it, that's great, because then it will be a surprise later on when the twist comes, or when the big reveal comes or something. So I really can't answer that one without giving anything away. So I'm gonna stay silent on that one. No comment, as they say. Next question: how much, if any, research went into your book or series? So much research went into this. So much research goes into my fantasy fiction, because obviously, with it being set in a historical time, I wasn't around then, so I researched for this series in particular. I researched types of weapons, types of armour, ships. There's not loads of time spent on ships from Freydis' point of view, but there was so much research I had to go into it, because I had to understand how the ship worked in general for Freydis to come along and experience an actual Viking army going off to war on a ship. So I've watched so many YouTube videos. I found an awesome YouTube channel by Jackson Crawford. So if you're into Norse history, Viking history, Jackson Crawford's definitely one to check out. But yeah, so much. I've got notebooks and notebooks, piles of notebooks of research. Which I will have to get out, because I'm looking at starting book 3 later this year, hopefully, so I'm going to have to go get some of those out again. Actually, see the 2 bookshelves behind me? So the bottom shelf, because you can see there's some Viking DVDs there, but on the shelves below, going straight across, because the Viking research books are so heavy and so dense, that whole shelf along there is all Viking research. And the bookcase behind me here, the top shelf, is mostly Viking research, non-fiction books as well. So you can probably tell there's a lot of research that go into this. What was your story set or inspired by a place you loved or visited? I've always loved Norway. The fjords have been such an inspiration to me. The closest I've ever been to anything like the Norwegian fjords is the Lake District or Scotland. So you could say my experiences there with the mountains and everything may have influenced some of the descriptive pieces that are in the book. But no, I haven't been to Norway. I would love to go to Norway. It's one of my bucket list trips I would love to do. So no, I haven't actually visited Norway, but I've seen lots of pictures, lots of documentaries and things like that. So a lot of that went into writing this book. What in your book comes from writing what you know? Well, obviously, with it taking place in Viking times, I wasn't there, so there's not a lot that I know, and I don't often fight with shields and axes, so I can't say that I've experienced that either. But there was one scene, sort of in the last third of the book, I'm going to say, when Freydis leaves her village. She's on a ship and she experiences seasickness, and she finds out that life at sea isn't all it's cracked up to be. That's very much based on the way my first trip on a boat, it wasn't at sea, ironically, it was in a lake, but it was on a windy day. It was in Lake Windermere, and it was a windy day. The boat was rocking, and it made me feel a little bit sick myself, so I drew on that experience to portray Freydis's realisation that maybe life at sea isn't all she dreamed it would be. And the last question: what did you learn from other authors that you were able to incorporate into your own book? Well, there's a historical fiction author called Theo Brunn who writes Viking fiction, and he once did a webinar on the History Quill website that I attended, and it was all about how to write battle scenes effectively. And a lot of what I learned from there goes into my battle scenes when I write them for my fantasy novels. So I think really that is what I've picked up from other authors, and also just reading in general. I think, especially like something like historical fiction, you do pick up a lot from other authors, like terminology and things like that. So I think through reading, I've kind of subconsciously picked up lots from other authors. So that was the last question. As I said, this is part of a series of videos, and the tag has been created by Emma Bennett, author, who you can find on YouTube. I'll leave a link to her YouTube channel down below if you want to go and check her out. She's another hybrid author. And I'm going to tag a couple more authors to do this challenge with us. So I am tagging, let me get this right so that I'm not, I don't get their names wrong. I am tagging Estelle Vandervelde and Andrea J. Severson. So if you would like to take part in this challenge and share your books with us, that would be really great. I would look forward to seeing those as part of this challenge. So don't forget, if you want to pick up your copy of The Call of the Valkyries, please go ahead and check out the links below this video. Also, check out the other videos in this series. You will hopefully find something that interests you, sparks your interest, starts a new series. So until next time, I will see you next week with a brand new video. Bye.